Why is "I can't function without coffee" a normal thing to say as an adult? I say that sentence probably 4 times a week, and nobody ever looks at me weird when I say it. But actually, think about it for a second. If I said I can't function without my apple, someone would be calling my emergency contact. So today I'm not asking whether coffee is good or bad. I'm investigating that sentence. How did "I need this to be a person" became one of the most normal things an adult could say? First thought, maybe coffee is just that powerful. Maybe it does something to your brain strong enough to explain all of this. Here's what actually happens. You know that feeling around 3 p.m. where your brain starts to fog over and you can't even hold on for a thought? There's a chemical responsible for that. It builds up the longer you're awake and basically tells your body, hey, we're tired now. Caffeine walks in and mutes that signal. It doesn't give you energy. It just turns off the part of your brain that tells you that you're tired. And then I found this study. I love that researchers named it exactly what it is. It's called faster but not smarter. Caffeine gets you moving quickly. Reaction time, speed, alertness. But complex thinking, creativity, actually solving problems? Barely anything. Coffee doesn't upgrade you. It just undowngrades you. Which means this theory alone isn't strong enough to explain why half the world needs it before they can even speak to another human. So let's keep going. Okay, this one stopped me. What if the boost you feel every morning isn't even a boost? Picture this. You wear glasses every single day. You put them on and the world feels sharper. You feel better, clearer, more like yourself. That feels like a gain. But what if the glasses weren't the reason for the blur in the first place? Here's what's actually happening to regular coffee drinkers. Caffeine doesn't push you beyond your regular baselines. It just cancels out the withdrawal from yesterday's cup. You're not gaining anything, you're just getting back to zero. And I want to be honest, this one hit me personally. I have 7 a.m. calls with people 3 time zones away, and if I hadn't had coffee yet, I generally cannot even trust what goes out of my mouth. I used to think I was the type of person who needed a slow start. Turns out, I'm someone managing a 12-hour chemical cycle. Which brings me to something I wasn't expected to find. The DCM-5, the equivalent of phone books for medical diagnosis, lists caffeine withdrawal as a medical condition. Get this. Headache, fatigue, trouble concentrating. Sounds familiar? Starts about 12 hours from your last cup. So when you say, I can't function without my coffee, you might be more medically accurate than you meant to be. Now, withdrawal explains the feeling, but it doesn't explain the timing. Why is this specifically a morning thing? Why does everyone basically do it on the same schedule? Why not 3 p.m.? Why not after dinner? That answer is somewhere completely different. Before we get there, this channel follows the money, culture, and the questions that nobody thought about. If this interests you, subscribe. We're just getting started. This is a seed, just a seed. And somehow it became load-bearing in my entire adult life. I want to show you exactly how that happened. The timing of coffee is not random. And before I say what I'm about to say, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is just documented history. It's just that when you line it all up, it feels a little bit designed. Every single time coffee became widely spread in North America, it was because someone needed large groups to be alert and functional on a straight schedule. 1832, Andrew Jackson swaps the soldiers' rum rations for coffee. Military imports nearly triple overnight. The army needed people sharp at 6 a.m., not drunk. Then the Civil War. Coffee becomes a standard issue in military rations. Then World War II. What did it have in common for all soldiers' rations? You guessed it. Coffee. The government rationed it even to civilians, so they can supply the troops. And then 1952. A coffee trade group called the Pan American Bureau runs one single ad campaign. They coined the phrase coffee break. Within a year, most American companies adopt it as an official workplace policy. Let's all take a moment to collectively thank the Pan American Bureau, because without that one campaign, we might not even have coffee breaks today. Corporate America looked at mandatory pause in the working day and said yes, as long as it's caffeinated. Groundbreaking stuff. Coffee historian Mark Pendergrast described it simply. Before all of this, work followed the sun. And I know that stuff sounds almost poetic, like some sort of ancient ritual, but it's not. It just meant people worked when there was light and stopped when there wasn't. Coffee helped employers to break that and chain productivity to a clock instead. And once that habit existed, we didn't just keep doing it. We started performing it. Mugs that say, "Don't talk to me before coffee." Shirts that say, "Powered by caffeine." A Starbucks on literally every corner. We didn't just normalize needing coffee. We turned it into a personality. Imagine explaining running on espresso to someone from the 1750s. They would think you were describing a medical emergency, not a vibe. Culture didn't build any of this. It just made sure that none of us stops to ever question it. Before I tell you what I actually think is going on, one more thing. Because if the problem were the bean itself, every coffee culture on earth would look like the American one. And they don't. In Turkey, there's a proverb. 1 cup of coffee commits you to 40 years of friendship. In Sweden, some companies make the coffee break mandatory. Twice a day, no agenda. The whole point is that nothing productive gets done. It's a break. Same plant, same drug, completely different relationship to it. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean that people in Turkey don't feel the pull of caffeine, or that nobody in these places feels the need to drink coffee every single morning. The biology is the same everywhere. What's different is the meaning built around it. In those places, coffee is also about slowing down, being together, resisting the schedule. Here, it became like a tool of the schedule. So the bean was never the problem. So here's where we've landed. And I want to say, I didn't know exactly what I was going to find out when I started pulling on this thread. No single theory explains it. All four do together, and there's probably even more that we haven't even discussed today. Caffeine mutes tiredness, but doesn't create energy. Withdrawal creates the feeling of needing it, but not the timing. Work created the timing, but not the meaning. And culture turned the whole thing into an identity, so that none of us would ever stop to question it. And maybe we don't even have to. I said at the start that this is just a seed. I was right, just not the way I meant it. The seed isn't coffee. The seed is the system that needed you to need it. And I think we're all still figuring out what to do with that. Because the strange thing was never that coffee wakes you up. The strange thing is that we built a whole version of adulthood where millions of people need something outside of themselves just to feel like themselves again. Coffee didn't create that. It just became the best available answer to it. I'm still going to drink this tomorrow though. I actually like it. But I think I finally know the difference between two things. I've been calling the same feeling. Loving this and just needing it to feel like me again. Are you a daily coffee drinker? And do you actually enjoy it? Or do you actually need it? Let me know. Drop it in the comments.